In this video, we're going to be looking at the new so-called in-game action duration reminder, and this is a pretty big deal, especially for console players who don't have access to add-ons such as Fancy Action Bar or Action Duration Reminder. Basically, gives you a duration timer on each ability. As you can see on my bar here, and this is default UI by the way, you can see the timers in point increments, so it's pretty accurate. And just to test the accuracy, I'm just gonna let it run out, and we'll. Yep, yeah, it's pretty fairly accurate. So again, it's for ground dots and also like buffs, as you can see. So we see the timer is running, and we also will taunt this Atro. And even if you look away from the Atro, you see that the taunt timer is still there. But what happens if we taunt both Atros? I think I'll taunt this again. 15, 14. So, unfortunately, it isn't target based. So if you're a tank on console or whatever, or if you don't have access to untaunted, you're gonna have to basically still keep a mental note on which ad needs to be retaunted. But that's pretty fairly simple to keep track of a 15-second duration, and usually most things in Trash will die before then in most progression or experience groups. Now let's look at buffs as well. Let's look at the shield here, the vigor, 3-4 seconds. Heroic slash, that's the buff counting the minor maim and the ult gain. Fierce armor, same story here. And then if you start casting skills, you'll notice that instead of numbers on the other bar, on the back bar, you'll see a progression bar in terms of duration. I'm not really a big fan of how small it is. I don't mind the bars, personally. But it's definitely at least a start. I hope that they do improve it. I'm just not really a fan of how small it is. Maybe it'll look bigger on, I don't know, bigger monitors or TV screens. But it's definitely better than nothing. It's definitely a huge step, I would say. Particularly for console, because now you can start doing, reliably doing more dynamic rotations, especially as DPS, because a lot of console players used to, not used to, but still ask for static rotations because it's really, for certain classes, it's hard to keep track all of it in your head for a lot of people. So this is definitely a start, but I'm still not a fan of how it looks. I don't know what you guys think about the new action duration reminder in the game. As for me personally, I'll probably use this or Fancy Action Bar. Personally, I really like the look of the Fancy Action Bar. It's an add-on by ADS. And I believe it's a bit more reliable than Action Duration Reminder as an add-on. But I think this is definitely an option for those people who don't prefer running either of those add-ons, or for the people playing on console. So a pretty great quality of life addition for combat. And I would say the next thing to tackle for the ESO developers is probably going to be an in-game alpha gear or dressing room, or probably revamping the buff and debuff bar, which is still horrendous, but I think the in-game action duration reminder is going to go a long way in alleviating some of the tracking you need to do with your eyes for that. In terms of activating the action duration reminder in game, you have under settings in the game, and you have the ability to turn these on. Ability bar timers, ability bar back row. I believe these are turned off by default. I don't think they should be turned off by default. I believe they should probably be turned on by default. But just for the people wondering, next patch, how do I enable this? You have to go into settings, combat, ability bar timers, turn that on. You also have the option of turning off the timers for your back bar, but I don't see a reason why you would even need to do that, personally. But yeah, definitely going a long way here. In terms of everything else, that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching.